Knock is a small town in the county of Mayo, renowned as a major Catholic pilgrimage site since local residents reported witnessing an apparition of the Virgin Mary in 1879. Over the years, it has evolved into a hub for religious tourism, with facilities such as souvenir shops and visitor centres catering to the steady influx of pilgrims. Recently, however, there has been much discussion about local hotels, hostels and B&Bs being converted to accommodate refugees and asylum seekers. In this video, I want to highlight some of these premises: the Belmont Hotel, the Drumhouse Guesthouse, the International Hostel, and I also have some news about a housing estate in Knock called Churchfield Park. First, just to mention briefly the International Hostel in Knock, which, as most local people will know, has been accommodating Ukrainian refugees for the past couple of years. There has been talk in recent months that the Ukrainian refugees were to be moved out, as seems to be happening all around the country, but as of yet they remain in the hostel. Now, moving on to the Belmont Hotel, which for the last couple of years has actually been closed. It was bought recently by a company called Avic Private Limited, and two men named Bobby Carter and Richard Heaney were listed as being directors. By the way, these two men also have involvement in other refugee accommodation centres all around the northwest, the Clube Hotel and the Pontoon Bridge, to name but a few. Back to the Belmont Hotel. This is a letter dated the 13th of July 2024 from Mayo County Council's Director of Services Tom Gilligan to one of the owners of the Belmont Hotel, Bobby Carter. Dear Bobby, thank you for the opportunity to discuss on many occasions your vision and plan to bring the Belmont Hotel back into use. The bringing back of this hotel will be of enormous benefit to Mayo's economy, especially the local community in Knock. With the ongoing war in Europe, we have witnessed thousands of refugees having to seek safety and shelter within our county. Our wonderful communities in Mayo throughout this humanitarian crisis have provided a duty of care to people having to flee for their lives. I greatly appreciate all their efforts and yours, and the revitalising of the hotel will provide a significant shot in the arm for the local area. Given the urgent need, I am very supportive of your plan that the hotel, once fully refurbished, will provide much needed refugee accommodation for a minimum of 2 years, and then thereafter revert back to the tourism and hospitality sector. I just want to pick up on a few things mentioned here by Tom Gilligan. He talks about the ongoing war in Europe and goes on to say that this refugee accommodation at the Belmont will be in place for a minimum of 2 years. But in a letter issued by the Department of Integration to Ukrainian refugees in Cork in August of this year, the department stated, "There has been a decrease in the number of people fleeing the war in Ukraine seeking accommodation in Ireland. As a result of this decrease, the department has begun consolidating its accommodation portfolio." So how can our Director of Services at Mayo County Council, Tom Gilligan, say that the Belmont Hotel will be accommodating Ukrainian refugees for the next 2 years at least? I would suspect, more than likely, it will be international protection applicants or economic migrants who will end up staying at the Belmont. The initial phase of the build had aimed to accommodate up to 80 people by November, and with a total of 5 phases planned, this building could ultimately end up facilitating hundreds of refugees or international protection applicants. However, on the first day that work began, locals highlighted concerns with the council regarding a possible asbestos roof at the rear end of the building. The council promptly investigated and all work has since been suspended. In recent days, however, machinery has been seen on site, indicating that efforts to dismantle and dispose of the asbestos roof are underway. It should be stated at this point that any derelict building which was built before the year 2000 must have an asbestos survey carried out prior to any building works commencing, which did not happen in this case. This dereliction of duty by Mayo County Council demonstrates a blatant disregard for the health and well-being of those living in and around the area of the Belmont Hotel. Now let's have a look at the Drumhouse Guesthouse. Locals are concerned with the news that the Drumhouse Guesthouse has been converted to accommodate international protection applicants. The guesthouse was originally owned by Donna Denedy, but it was bought by Luxor XL Connect Solutions Limited, a company owned by Bernard Duke and his nephew Brian Duke from Strokestown in County Roscommon. In April 2024, the Dukes submitted a Section 5 request under the Planning and Development Act 2000, seeking a formal decision to ascertain if the property qualifies for an exemption. Their proposed development was to accommodate international protection applicants, supposedly made up of women, children and families only. Women, children and families only? Really? Can we take their word for that? The most recent IPAS statistics I can find are from the 15th of September and show that 3 times more single men arrived compared to single women, with the majority of arrivals coming from Jordan, which, by the way, is not at war. In the previous week, there were over 4 times as many single men arriving compared to single women, with the majority of arrivals coming from Nigeria, Jordan and Somalia. As guest houses were not classified as exempt from planning regulations under Section 5, work on the guest house was ordered to cease. However, construction continued, prompting the Planning Enforcement Department of Mayo County Council to issue a warning letter to the developers. Shortly after this, though, a new exemption was sought and granted under Section IH of the Planning and Development Act. With this adjustment, the renovation proceeded and is now complete, with the property appearing ready for use. The guest house is expected to accommodate between 30 and 40 international protection applicants sometime in the near future. However, local people remain uninformed about the timeline for this transition. To conclude, I'd like to share some information that I received recently that many people around Knock won't be familiar with. The information came from a highly respected member of the community, but in saying that, it does come with a health warning. This is not official information, and I would ask you all please to do your own research and ask around yourself in the community. The housing estate called Churchfield Park comprises of approximately 20 to 30 1 and 2 bedroom homes. Although most have remained vacant for several years, they are still structurally sound and in reasonable condition. I believe that it is the church who owns these properties, and I've been informed that they are preparing to either sell or transfer them to Mayo County Council. That raises the question as to what Mayo County Council will do with them. Will they give them to Irish citizens, for example, who have been sitting on the housing list for years? Or do you think they will give them to international protection applicants or economic migrants who have literally just landed in the country? Your guess is as good as mine. If you're interested in supporting my campaign and you would like to join my canvass team for the upcoming general election, please reach out at the email address below. And I really appreciate all the help you can give me. Thank you.